Thank you, Ron and Carlos, for bringing me back. My name is Bala. I'm a cloud solutions architect, and I've been doing digital transformation projects for various industries, especially manufacturing. I've been doing it for more than 2 decades. Recently, been working on a lot in automotive as well. Of course, supply chain is an integral part of manufacturing. So I'm going to have quite a bit content to cover, but I'm going to give you the vision of what we are trying to do. So what is Microsoft doing in this space? So as you, okay, here we go. Can you see the screen now? Okay. So Microsoft as a company, if you think about it, we are also a manufacturing company because we do manufacture quite a bit of products. We have been doing manufacturing for Xboxes and now Surfaces and things like that. Not only we build our cloud infrastructure, but we also build our product portfolio as well. But let's talk about what's happening in the world of manufacturing and what's going on. In the past 2 years, we have seen that how COVID can impact. We'll talk about that as well. But here are some of the trends that we see that driving manufacturers and where it is going towards. A lot of the manufacturing companies are struggling to reduce their downtime and increase their bottom line. So basically, OEE is where most of the operation sides are going on. But at the same time, there is transformation happening on the product sector, how they're building new products and how the supply chain works and how the factory of the future is going to be working. I'm part of one of the top 10 learning factory concept universities. We work with Purdue and build a next generation factory of the future, like how Microsoft and also like the industry is moving towards that. So there's a lot of exciting stuff is happening, even though there has been recent challenges, especially IoT has amplified data collection, but AI is where AI IoT, we call it AIoT, which is basically is the trend that a lot of your value conversation starts there. That's where you can really see how manufacturers can add value to their customers. So let's talk about this impacts. As you know, COVID, it's been close to 2 years now, has made challenges. Remote work collaboration has become a very critical key area. Privacy and security is another area that we actually talk about. Factory automation using intelligent robots. I mean, robot automation in factories is nothing new. It has been there forever. But the robot acting by itself without programming is an area that we actually look at. And also, like, how do we automate some of your manufacturing processing? Like a technology world called RPA, but it's actually business process automation. The next one is the favorite part of it is AI-driven predictive and prescriptive analytics with the digital twins. Like, how do we represent your operations or your line or your stations or your entire factory and bring that in a three-dimensional way and showcase it, right? And with real time, like I can show you images of, videos of what we have done for customers. Like we can virtually bring a factory in your corporate office, and you can actually collaborate with factory kind of thing. Future product development, like the new products that are getting developed, is more and more tied to electronics. A lot of software and hardware involved these days. So those are the things happening. But let's talk about what is manufacturing and how we are doing digital transformation, because we ourselves is a manufacturing company and we had to change. So we had to look into all these areas. One is customers, the other one is employee, the third one is the products, and then the operation. Now all these has to come together if you want to be a successful digital transformation and become an high-tech manufacturing org. Within this, you can ask me like, okay, what is happening? Here are some of the use cases areas that where we are looking to transform, and we have been transforming. Manufacturing is never new to Microsoft. It's been there in their DNA for more than 40 years. If you look at it, these are the major 5 pillars that we are looking very close to. How do you bring in productivity apps? How do we bring in mixed reality into your factory floors? How do you engage with customers? That's another important area that we are working with. Now, how do you also do in factory floors, do like three-dimensional digital twins with real-time data, so that you're taking intelligent data-driven decision-making process in the factory floor. Just not showing in a screen, but can you walk around? Can it combine with schematics? Can it combine with your existing system? You can't just go replace everything with new system in a flow, right? So you have to work with existing system and try to see how we can improve that. And then is supply chain, which is another area that extremely crazy these days after the COVID. The fifth one is more on the engineering side, which is, I like it a lot, like remote collaboration. What that means is, like, usually when you do global scale international manufacturing organization, of course, most of you probably, if you're in manufacturing, you might be, you know that engineers and designers are split across in different areas, but how can we bring them all together and form this entire concept, right? So we are building what we call the Azure for manufacturing. So basically, we're building the cloud to do all these things. So the first one is we are looking to transform the workforce. How do you do remote work? How can you collaborate from your sitting at your home? And how do you collaborate into factory floor and your customer? We have built a lot of case studies and products with ThyssenKrupp and Johnson Controls and all. Like, you can remotely, virtually be in an area, in a factory floor or a remote location to help customers and things like that. Like automating the process, bringing in a new MR technology into your hand. And of course, security is a key player, and that allows us to transform the workforce. So you really don't have to be in the location. Rather, if you have a issue in the factory floor, if the factory technician can have a HoloLens, he can actually dial into me. I can be like thousands of miles away. I can see what he sees, and I can just fix it instead of going back and forth. It's all about reducing the downtime, right? So we do a lot of work on that area. The second area is, like, how do we engage with more and more customers, like field service or sales demos, and how do we improve decision-making process within that area? Like, as if you look at like remote assistant, all like field service and smart connected field service, these are some of smart connected field services is in our Dynamics 365 product. All these are remote assist also is there. Allows you to wear a HoloLens and actually go to a customer site and repair. Instead of you doing that in a factory floor, you can also do that in a customer site. So that if you are like 2,000 miles away, you can still connect to the engineer and get the schematics right then and there and fix it, rather than coming back and forth. The reason why we did that is, like, because not in every place is that all these devices are like brand new and high tech. Some of these devices in manufacturing that are manufactured devices in the customer side, they have lifespan of like 30, 40 years. So you have to be able to maintain and provide support to your customers. And we work a lot with our partners. That's one of the main key things. Like, a platform can only do so much, but the partners build individual application that actually targets the entire process. Next comes building the factory of the future. Like, how do we make modular factories? How do we improve the OEE to increase productivity and increase the profitability? How can we reduce cost? How can we reduce waste? These are some of those things that we are always after We do predictive maintenance, AOI, advanced quality inspection. We can do with AI these days. Remote operations, condition monitoring. These are all condition monitoring and remote operations and all are very similar concept, but predictive maintenance and doing quality based on AEA, those are some of the new concepts that you can add to enrich your manufacturing process and save. And then let's go to the next one. This is the next section, which is the resilient supply chain. Supply chain, as you know, is a huge thing. You need to understand who the suppliers are globally, locally, geographically, and how they are actually, what is their capacity is, how much is their demand they have that they have to fulfill, so that you can gauge all those and build like forecasting model to figure out like who would be the best supplier to go for this batch of production, or who can deploy. Send it to you in time, kind of thing. So there are so many optimization techniques that we are looking into, and we have our AML platform that is very respectable for citizen data scientists, even for people who doesn't know coding. You can do no code, low code, and heavy code data science activities. All of these things are not just in papers. I have implemented in a lot of places. So you can see the customers and the partner list as well. Next is going to be, this is an area that I do also concentrate a lot. This is what I call it engineering. How do we bring in new product innovation in this new ever-changing world? The current products come with IoT integration. Correct product comes with digital twins. Like how do we bring in digital representation of a device and impose that with current streaming data, and then also predict what is happening, kind of thing. How do we reduce this development and make it faster, so we can go time to market is make it faster than that. And then how do we iterate? So these are all like, it's ultimately this is about building innovations. How do we bring the next generation factory into life, right? So that and all is well and good, but we are also looking at like, okay, one of the biggest challenges in the manufacturing space has been like there are thousands of vendors and thousands of manufactured line with so many stations. All of them have their HMI SCADA system by itself. None of them talk to each other. So including the IT systems like SAP or Salesforce, as you all know, like they all have their own way of doing it. So we are building common data control, a community, and benefits and best practices. So that will allow different softwares and different vendors coming and talking to each other. We call it as manufacturing open manufacturing platform is what we call. And here is how it is going to change into. So in the top, you can see all the 5 areas, which pretty much covers the entire manufacturing spectrum industry. And then how we are trying to bring everything together in Azure. We are looking at like Office 365, and then we have our huge partner ecosystem products and Dynamics 365, which is kind of like a back office. And then all those things controlled by Power Platform, which allows you to do easy drag and drop style code development, application development, and you can customize it your own place. And all of these running in our cloud, so you can scale when you need it. It's not that you have to scale and plan for 5 years. You can just plan for 6 months, and then you can scale if you need it to scale. So that's one of the things that we are very keen about. Now, I won't boil too much on this. This is an architecture. If you look at in the inner pinnings of like how we built, we are bringing all these things together. These are the services that actually will allow you to achieve what you're talking about. We have data governance, and we have, give me 1 second. We also concentrate on common data models, data governance, so that you're very secured, your data is secured. We have lineage capabilities to maintain for GDPR, CCPA, so you can protect the privacy of your users. So there is so much in Azure these days. I would like you all to take a look at it and give us feedback. Let us know what do you guys think. And let's go to the next one now. So this is all well and good, but there are some practical links that I compile for you guys. Take a look at it. We also have, if you're new and if you want to see how AI is transforming, I like you to go back and take a look at these links. We have an AI school. It talks about the strategy, how you can implement a manufacturing strategy. We did few AI. These are some of the projects that I've worked on. Fill station, workplace safety is one important thing. If you want to implement your own COVID social distancing project, there is a collaborative IoT platform that we are trying to work on. This is more of an industry. And then take a look at the factory of the future with AI. This link has got plenty of AI scenarios that you can take it and get it up and running in your factory floor, like all video based. You can do product counting, quality management. They can be deployed in a Docker container, and it integrates with our IoT hub. We also have spatial analysis with cognitive services. And then I put the link for the manufacturing, our website. Go take a look at it. It gives you case studies and how we implemented it for other people. Now, just to segue from here, as you see, we've done a lot in manufacturing. Now, we took that, and what we did is we actually made it scalable for going into other industry. One of the other industry that I concentrate now is like retail. Automotive. Automotive, as you know, is being kind of changing these days. We went from gas to electric. Electric engines are becoming more and more popular these days. Not only that, there are other things that is driving this, like how can the car be intelligent, or how the car can be connected to each other. How can we take data-driven decision while we are running a running car inside, sitting in the car, right? Like the car is becoming. I even heard the car is going to become like the next workplace. If it is an autonomous car, you can sit in the car and have your coffee and actually work, and the car will drive itself. I don't know whether it's good or not, but we are going towards there. So that there is some trends in the industry that we are seeing. Most of the couple of years back, this was totally different. A lot of these executives were very skeptical, but now things are changing. Not everybody's like Tesla. 76% of executives now agree that they need to somehow do connected vehicles and go into EV, so that they can actually start building new revenue and also be prevalent to the market space, right? And here is another ecosystem slide. Here are all these areas where that automotive sector is going to touch. In smart cities to autonomous car to transportation, taxi, parking. It's the entire automotive industry has got like so many different linkages, flights, trains, and car sharing, and like Uber and Lyft, and GM Cruise is working on renting a car. You don't even need to buy a car. Use the phone app and just go pick up the car. It will drive it, tell the location, it'll drive it to the destination, park the car and walk away. So there are so many things actually changing these days. Here are so within the automotive industries, this is a kind of like what is the next level inside automotive industry where the changes are happening, right? One is the enterprise data agility. As you know, you probably will hear about data. Data is going to drive the next X decades of any industry, right? Now, autonomous car is the next one. This is where a lot of AI and even a lot of data collection is going on. Predictive monitoring. I mean, every car company is also a manufacturing company, and they have a supply chain, and they have huge partner ecosystem too. So, predictive maintenance in their factory. Their factories are pristine, and they produce large volume in short number of times. This is your, if you know the Ford model, Lean, and Toyota's Lean Six Sigma and things like that. So these are some, they always constantly try to improve productivity in the factory. Their factories are extremely very nice. And supply chain is amazing. I mean, even though they have a great supply chain, if you look at today's world, when there is a chip shortage, they can't produce cars, right? So you can see the interdependencies. That's another area that they're constantly trying to evaluate. And then differentiation. Differentiation is where your the next services like Uber and Lyft and all comes in play. You can just use your app, either rent a car or use the app, pick up a car, drive it, and then if once you're done, you just go park it somewhere and close your app, kind of thing. So there are the industry itself is kind of transforming to that as well. So far, does it make sense? Yes. Can you guys hear me still?
Yep. All good, Bala.
So now this is basically like what I was talking to you about, how the data is going to play a role and what we are doing in the factories inside automotive. How are they going to do like a single view customer personalized journey for you? There are even cars that has the windshield becomes your monitor, and you can see there are we already have done like virtual assistant that you can talk to. There are so many innovations happening. Out of all of those things, of course, most of this thing is going to be sitting in the data. Automotive industry is heavily dependent on using data coming out of their OEM vehicles. The biggest challenge is like, how do we take that and make it in such a way that they can drive intelligent automotive? And here is how they're planning to do. So you need an enterprise data platform, which basically will be our Azure cloud, which becomes your huge repository store. Now the cloud doesn't just provide you just storage. The cloud also provides you the tool for the automotive industry to be successful. So that means you can develop autonomous development workflows and autonomous development AI inside our platform, so that you can do self-driving cars, self-driving trucks, kind of thing. You can come up with battery resilient operations and build your own supply chain for EV vehicles and also for the existing vehicles. Make sure that your supply chain is not too much spread across the region, the globe. Rather, try to source which are close by each other, like how we struggled in COVID situations because China stops it. We can't bring anything in. Now, not only that, then we also allow you to use our data platform that you can actually build your own data services. So you can say like, what are the add-on services? Like you can find new recommendations for your customers, or you can say like, hey, here is a nearby services that you may want to try. Or you can say, look at the driver behavior and say like, hey, you're driving for too long, why don't you take a break? Everybody needs a break, right? So you can actually come up with new services and build new revenue model with this cloud service. That's where the innovation is going to be there. Just by replacing an existing application doesn't mean anything. But how do you transform that is the biggest question that we always ask. This is, and again, don't get too hung up on it. This is the entire components under the covers that all these services we can use. But it doesn't mean that we have to use all the services in here. We can always pick and choose what we wanted to use. And I'm going to now wait and see whether you guys have any question and answer. Any questions so
Hey,
far?
Bala, let me
Yep.
see. I'm going to monitor this. It's a lot of fantastic capabilities. People like this speech recognition. It's going to be. It's just there's so many capabilities out there. I think the important thing, if there's nothing else you want to directly cover, that I want to make sure of is people are aware of the power of the Azure platform and helping all of you understand its capabilities. And as I said, we're fortunate to have the world's two largest technology companies share with you all their capabilities. And we encourage everyone to look at how you can improve your operations, because manufacturing is booming, and it will boom, especially with Build Back Better as the main initiative for the US government, and that's only continuing. Is there anything else you wanted to share, Bala, before I make some concluding comments?
Yeah, few minutes I'll take, if you don't
Okay.
mind. So I want to show you a demo. I mean, you guys see all these PowerPoint presentations, right? But what does that means in reality? This is for a factory. Imagine if you are a factory operator, and you have levels, right? C-level, mid-range management, and then you have plant level management. Ultimately, if you're a manufacturing company, you're always going after bottom line, regardless of who you are. Any industry, you're going after bottom line. So the main in manufacturing, what we call is OEE, operational equipment efficiency. This is basically doing availability, performance, and quality. So you can see, if I assume that I own a company in all over the world, and I can, this is my global dashboard. I can sit in one place. I don't have to be in the factory to know what is happening right now, but I get an entire footprint of how my factories are doing in the first. This is what we call the C-level dashboard. Now you can say like, okay, Bala, but I need to go deep. Yeah, of course you can go deep. Now this is like an director level, senior VP level, who's sitting and saying like, I wanted to see what my plants are doing. Can you go into this plant and show me what's happening? And all of these are driven by our platform. So click of a button, see I can drill down into, I can see the factory floor. You can put wonders in here, like put cameras in there and view what's happening, and you can figure out what's going on. But also look at it. It tells you the alerts if there is anything potential happening for your HOSHO or OSHA compliance, or even for anything else, like if any personal hazards or any compliance is being monitored here. It gives you the site information. It gives you the main KPI, your downtime. This is where every optimization project that I've touched in manufacturing is always about downtime. Downtime, you reduce the downtime, productivity goes up, which means we can produce more product. Now the right one is where we concentrate a lot on a sustainability thing. This is where most of your manufacturing drive uses lots and lots of electricity and power. This is an area where we are looking at now bringing in sustainability cloud to see how we can innovate and use, instead of getting coal and other sources, how do we take natural sources like wind energy or solar energy and try to use them, things like that. So we are providing you can also monitor your energy use. And if you look at a factory floor, this is where one of your biggest spend would be, right? And then of course the OEE, month over month, so you can see how it is trailing. Now if you look at the screen, this is good for the plant manager or the senior directors, VPs and things like that. But again, now you see this red mark, you wanted to know like what the status is happening. Okay, what is this red mark? If you click in there, it takes you into that particular line, and it actually shows you like, hey, this is the line, this is what is happening. You can even project, I've done projects that you can even project it in a HoloLens, and you can walk around and you can actually fix things. But it also gives you sensor information. This gives you the SCADA HMI information in your hands for you to take decision. Now, this is what we call intelligent data-driven data decision-making process, because and blue-collar worker who has access to this data becomes an intelligent worker. That is what we are taking the manufacturing to. Like, I mean, we're trying to push them to the next futuristic level. And you can see, like, it tells you different access, it tells you even the vibration, it tells you any predictive maintenance. Look at it, it tells you there is a predictive maintenance, and it tells you what you need to do, what thin sensor you need to replace. So I wanted to show you, like, this is a demo that over the years that we worked with multiple customers, but I can't show you customer real thing without permission. So we built this, but this came out of building it for a couple of customers. And of course, nothing is magic. Everything has got its own madness to it. This is how we bring the IT and OT space together, make it real. And this is how we built the system. We have real-time feeds. We also have batch feeds. And of course, most of it, what we develop is we use platform as a service. That's where if you are a manufacturer and if you really want to save money, there's a concept of buy versus build. If you want to build it, platform as a service is what will help you. Buy is where more like you can look at our partners and actually get it from the partner. It's a pre-baked application itself. Now, these are all very easily interpinable devices, so you don't need to know API to communicate everything. You can actually use the user interfaces and you can put things together. So that's basically what I wanted to show. And at this point, I'll take questions, and Ron, you can take it over.